Hello, 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 it is I, Ihlamur, and I am going to focus today on the woodcutter in Pioneers of Pagonia, but I know that most of you will only stick around for about 30 seconds, so let me show you the best setup for a woodcutter and forester straight off the bat. And you'll notice here that there's a well worker to keep the forester in water. The forester's going to be planting saplings and collecting firewood, but the woodcutter should not be collecting firewood. That is a waste of his time. The other thing is that he should be cutting down all the trees. Don't touch this button here. It is not worth it. I'll show you why in a second, but before we get to that, I want to say one other very important thing. Right at the beginning, when you're first set up, your woodcutters should be chopping down any sort of tree they can get to, but your forester should only be planting softwood trees, and that's so that your woodcutters will collect softwood trunks, because that's what you're going to need, softwood trunks and softwood beams to do all your construction. Hardwood is only used for tools and weapons, so that's later game. So at the beginning, only have your foresters planting softwood, and then your woodcutters will collect it. After a while, you can change things. Right, back to why woodcutters shouldn't be collecting firewood. Have a look at this. I ran a bunch of tests over the course of an hour each, and I set up each one up differently. These are the three that I want to point out to you. The first one is my recommended setup. You're not collecting firewood with your woodcutter, and you are felling all the trees. You're not waiting for them to grow up into full trees before felling them. And over the course of an hour, if you do that, you'll collect about 173 resources. And what do I mean by resources? I mean wood and or firewood. So trunks and or firewood. And if you're not collecting firewood, of course, all of those are trunks, right? So actually, it's a little bit less efficient on the resources side. If you collect firewood as well, you collect 265 resources, and I'm going to call that my efficiency baseline for resources in general. So your efficiency is only about 2/3 as good on my recommended approach. If you only fell fully grown trees, your efficiency is still better than if you're not collecting firewood. You're collecting 231 resources, but it's less efficient than actually just going out and felling saplings as soon as they reach stage 1 growth. So why am I recommending doing this not collecting firewood one? Well, it's because firewood is not that important. It's used a little bit later on, and you can get foragers to collect that for you. What's important for a woodcutter is getting as much wood as possible. And so all of the wood that you're collecting is trunks, so 173 trunks. That's my efficiency baseline for actual wood that we can use. And if you collect firewood, your efficiency on trunks goes down. It's only about 3/4 as good, and you've got 31 trees left at the end. That's an inefficient use of space. It's even worse if you're waiting till trees are fully grown before felling them. There's no good reason to do that. Your efficiency is down to 0.87, and there's loads and loads of trees around taking up loads and loads of space. So in short, if you want to collect trees, and this is especially early game, once you've got loads of space and loads of woodcutters, do what you want. But early game, better to only collect trunks, not collect firewood, and cut them down as soon as they become saplings. If you want to know why that is, go and look at my Focus on the Forester video. So, now we've agreed on the right setup, let's look specifically at the woodcutter. It takes 4 softwood trunks to build a woodcutter. It takes diggers, they come out and they dig up to 4 if your ground is really uneven, 0 if it's really, really flat. It takes up 4 of these plots of land, and that's about a 7 by 7 meter squared area. So not too big, 2 by 2 if you're thinking about plots. And it takes about 58 seconds, let's call it a minute, for the 2 builders to build your woodcutter. You can build the woodcutter pretty much anywhere. You can build the forester as well. Grassland, dusty grass, sandy grass, mossy, which is that kind of swampy area. Lakeside, woodland, fertile grassland. You can build on the beach, you can build on the steppe, or you can build in the stony desert. Where you cannot build a woodcutter is on the grey rocky ground, in water of course, in the middle of the marshland, the watery swampy area, on stone or on scree, which is kind of the brown rocky area. Once your 3 woodcutters arrive, and I'm going to call them Billy, all of them are called Billy. Once they arrive, as soon as a sapling's available and a woodcutter is available within the range, he will go out and he will start chopping down trees. Now the range of his tree gathering is 85 meters. It's quite large. He will take 3 swipes at any tree, doesn't matter how big it is. That takes about 10 seconds, and then it takes 4 seconds for the tree to fall before he will go and start chopping. That takes another 4 seconds or so, and then he will pick up the wood, and he'll leave the firewood if you're not collecting firewood. If you are collecting firewood, he might pick up the firewood, he might pick up the wood, you don't know, and he'll pick up whatever's closest. So if there's firewood closer than a tree, he'll go and collect that, and that behavior is different from the forester, who will always plant if he can. So then he'll travel back and he'll drop off his load at the woodcutters to be taken elsewhere. Obviously things that use the wood are construction for softwood trunks, or the sawmill to turn trunks into hardwood boards or softwood beams. Softwood beams used a lot for construction, the boards used for tools and weapons, and of course the firewood. If you are collecting firewood, the sawmill can turn wood into firewood as well, and it's the baker and the provisioner who use the firewood. Alright, time to really get into the details, and then a little look at efficiency, what we can expect from our woodcutter. So he has a radius of 85 meters that he can walk around in, and that's going to take him about 45 seconds to walk to the edge of that range if he goes all the way. So better to have your trees close, you'll save a lot of time. The area that would take is 22,876 meters squared. However, if you've set up your forester and your woodcutter the way that I've recommended, then it's actually this circle here is about all the area that you will need. So you want that area. Grassland is best for trees. That's a radius of about 21 meters, and so that's about 1,465 meters squared. That can take about 30 trees, and that's roughly what you're going to need to keep production moving at a rate that's good for both your well worker, your forester, and your woodcutter. Your woodcutter has various options. You can choose to fell all trees. Again, that's what we recommend. It's more efficient all the time, or you can turn that off, in which case you'll only fell fully grown trees. It's much less efficient. You can set the focus point of where you want them to start chopping down. Best to keep this as close to either your woodcutter or to where the forester is located as well. Your various wood types are your softwood trunk, which you can cut down softwood trees, your hardwood trunk for cutting down hardwood trees, and of course your firewood, and you can keep 16 of each of those in your woodcutter's hut before they will stop collecting. If you're wondering how we're working out all these distances and areas, take a look at our size is important video for the Pioneers of Pagonia. It talks about how we worked out how far everything is, and I've been using those same methods here to understand the distances involved. Finally, here is a cheat sheet for you that you can use for the woodcutter. I've done a similar one for the forester and the well worker, so feel free to pick those up as well. It's important to note that if you're using our recommended method, then you can expect to get 3 trunks per minute over the course of an hour. And if you're not using our recommended method and you are collecting firewood, then you're going to get about 4 resources a minute, but only 2 trunks a minute. 2 of those will be firewood each minute. So that's your efficiencies. I hope you've enjoyed this video. The next one we're going to do is going to be a bit different. We're going to focus on the terrain, because I realize that I'm talking about terrain, but maybe none of us know what that means. So join us next time. Feel free to subscribe, feel free to like, to comment, and don't miss our focus on the terrain next time. Thanks for joining. Have a lovely day. Bye bye.